Before we dive in, viewer discretion is advised. This content is for entertainment purposes. It happens in an instant. Kim Kardashian, America's most unflinching reality queen, is ordered off Jimmy Kimmel's stage in front of millions. 1 second, she's sitting beneath the blinding glow of the studio lights, perfectly poised. The next, she's rising, eyes flashing with fury. Every step punctuated by the gasps of a stunned audience. The crowd can't believe what they're witnessing. This is no playful skit, no scripted gag for late-night laughs. This is raw. This is unscripted, and it is brutal. Jimmy's voice cuts through the thick air, steady but sharp. Kim, maybe it's best if you leave. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the creak of her chair sliding back. Viewers at home sit frozen. In the studio, you could hear a pin drop. The cameras capture every detail. The cold shimmer of Kim's diamond earrings. The set's bright neon backdrop trembling with tension. The way her jaw clenches before she finally turns. When the heavy studio door slams behind her, it's like the closing of a vault. An entire chapter of late-night television history has just been sealed shut. But to understand how the night spiraled into chaos, we need to rewind. Because only moments earlier, the scene was painted in laughter, applause, and nostalgia. What began as a sweet reunion between host and guest would twist into one of the most explosive confrontations late-night TV has ever seen. The night begins like any other star-studded late-night spectacle. The band plays, lights shimmer across the set, and the crowd rises to its feet as Jimmy Kimmel announces her name, Kim Kardashian. She glides onto the stage, dazzling in a tailored dress, smiling that carefully perfected smile. The audience erupts, applause echoing like rolling thunder through the studio. Cameras pan to reveal Kris Jenner and Khloe Kardashian waving proudly from the audience. Their presence adding to the spectacle. It's a family affair. Jimmy beams as Kim takes her seat. "Welcome back to the show. I always love it when you come on," he gushes, his voice dripping with familiarity. The chemistry is undeniable. He goes on, "You're always so fun, and everyone loves you. My whole staff, everyone says she's the best. I love her so much." Kim laughs, returning the warmth with practiced ease. "I love coming on," she says, almost glowing under the adoration. The studio pulses with applause once again. For a moment, it feels effortless, charming, like two old friends catching up. And then Jimmy leans in, eyes twinkling mischievously. "Do you remember back in the late-night days on St. Paddy's Day? We all went to a bar together." Kim tilts her head, her lips curling into a smile. "Yes, we had finger puppets. I do remember that." Jimmy bursts into laughter. "You were always supportive of me. Always there, even back then." It's a moment soaked in nostalgia. The audience swoons at the playful banter, imagining a younger Kim in a crowded bar, clutching finger puppets, laughing with the same man now sitting across from her under the spotlight. The sweetness of that memory paints the scene in glowing colors. The warmth only grows as Jimmy recalls Kim's recent comedic triumphs. He praises her Saturday Night Live cameo, the cold open sketch with Kristen Wiig, the unexpected boldness she showed standing alongside comedy legends. Kim's voice is steady, confident as she replies, "I oddly don't get nervous ever." The crowd cheers at her poise, marveling at the woman who claims she never shakes under pressure. Kim smiles, calm and composed, embodying that very image of fearlessness. In these early minutes, it feels like nothing could go wrong. The studio is alive with joy, with admiration, with laughter, a reunion of friends, a family proud in the front row, a star glowing brighter than ever. No one suspects what's coming because even as the applause roars, the first cracks are already forming beneath the surface. The laughter is still ringing when Jimmy leans back in his chair, that mischievous grin tugging at the corners of his mouth. The shift is subtle, almost imperceptible, but the energy in the studio changes. "So, Kim," he says, voice dipped in mock wonder, "you never get nervous ever. Not even when you're on stage with Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell staring right at you." Kim tilts her head, the flawless hair catching the light. Never, she replies with calm certainty. It's just not in me. I don't get nervous. The audience claps, impressed, but Jimmy doesn't let go. He raises an eyebrow, his tone sharpening just a notch. Not even when you took your driver's test. When you sat there, sweaty palms on the wheel, waiting to prove yourself. Kim chuckles softly, still steady. I passed. No nerves. It's playful at first, but Jimmy presses harder. That's wild because, most human beings do get nervous unless he lets the pause hang in the air. They're not human. The crowd erupts with laughter, but the camera catches something different. A flicker in Kim's eyes, a tiny spark of fire, quick as lightning. She doesn't flinch, but her smile stiffens. Jimmy smirks, sensing the moment. Superhum Kardashian doesn't feel nerves, doesn't feel pain, which makes me wonder. He leans in. Is that why you finally broke your own rule? The Bentley without bumper sticker rule. The audience roars. They know the reference. Years earlier, Kim declared she'd never get a tattoo. Why put a bumper sticker on a Bentley? Yet here she sits, forced to acknowledge the infinity symbol inked on the inside of her lip. Kim's smile falters. Just for a heartbeat. Yes, she admits, her voice even but colder now. I did it. It's hidden. It's private. Jimmy pounces. Hidden but permanent. Even Bentleys crack sometimes. Huh? Laughter crashes through the studio, but it's different now. Sharper, louder, almost mocking. Kim keeps her posture, her laugh light and practiced, but her eyes give her away. That brief shimmer of irritation like heat lightning flashing across a summer sky. For the first time tonight, the warmth between host and guest cools. Attention creeps into the room, quiet, but undeniable. The audience still claps and cheers, but the rhythm of the evening has shifted. The applause sounds just a little too loud, the laughter just a little too long. And in that subtle shift, the first crack in Kim's polished armor begins to show. Sensing the unease, Jimmy leans back, finding casual charm. He changes gears but not direction. His voice carries a teasing edge, like a friend pretending to joke, but aiming for the jugular. Kim, he says, your mom's always been great to me, always fun, always looking out for you. In fact, he pauses for dramatic effect, eyes darting to Kris Jenner in the audience. Remember that little setup at the Ivy? That interview that wasn't exactly an interview. The crowd bursts into laughter, half in confusion, half in delight. Kris waves from her seat, smiling wide. Kim's lips curve into a practiced grin, but the light in her eyes dims. Heavy now? Yes, she replies, her tone clipped. I remember. Jimmy chuckles, pushing further. You walked in with your resume, ready to land a job. Meanwhile, Mom told the guy it was a date, a full-on Emmy-winning date. The audience howls. Some clap their hands. Others shout in disbelief. The cameras cut to Kris, who covers her mouth with faux modesty, basking in the chaos she created years ago. Kim laughs, but it's brittle. She shifts in her chair, her body stiff. It wasn't funny then, she says, her voice firm. And honestly, it's not funny now. The laughter softens just slightly. A ripple of unease runs through the room. Jimmy, undeterred, keeps going. Come on, Kim. Admit it. That's classic Kris. Setting you up, mixing business and pleasure. I mean, the poor guy even offered to bring his Emmy as a date accessory. That's comedy gold. This time, the laughter feels strained, louder, but emptier. The kind of laughter people give when they're not sure if it's safe not to laugh. Kim's jaw tightens, her smile is gone now, replaced by a mask of composure stretched too thin. It wasn't comedy gold to me, she says, her voice low, but sharp. The studio air thickens. The spotlight burns hotter. The set's bright colors suddenly too loud, too harsh. The band shifts uncomfortably, waiting for a cue that doesn't come. And for the first time tonight, the balance of power feels unsteady. The queen of composure sits on one side, eyes flickering with controlled anger. The king of late night sits on the other, unwilling or unable to pull back. The storm has not yet broken, but everyone in the room can feel it brewing. The laughter dies down. The air grows heavy, and the stage is set for the night's true eruption. The laughter from the Ivy's story lingers awkwardly in the air, thinner now, uneasy. Kim sits rigid, her smile gone. Jimmy leans forward, clearly unwilling to let the night drift back into safety. So he begins, voice deceptively light. You've been busy. Ryan Murphy Show, big cast, Glenn Close, Sarah Paulson, Naomi Watts. That's a table even I'd be nervous to sit at. Kim nods once, her expression careful. It's been amazing, she says, her voice calm. We all clicked right away. It works. Jimmy's eyes narrow, his smirk sharpening. And now this comedy. The Fifth Wheel, Eva Longoria directing, Will Ferrell producing. That's quite the leap. From reality star to rom-com queen. The crowd cheers at the mention of Hollywood heavyweights. But beneath the applause, there's an undercurrent of doubt. Jimmy lets the noise swell before striking again. I mean, he continues, his tone laced with sarcasm. Standing next to Kristen Wiig for 3 minutes on SNL is one thing, but headlining a comedy film, carrying it, that's different. The words hang heavy, sharp as glass. Some in the audience laugh nervously. Others groan, sensing the sting. A ripple moves through the studio, cheers clashing with cheers, applause mixing with disapproval. For the first time tonight, the audience itself is divided. Kim's jaw tightens. Her eyes flash, no longer veiled by polite composure. The mask slips. She leans forward, her voice steady, but edged with steel. I wasn't put in those rooms as a joke, she says, each word deliberate. I was asked to be there because people believe in me, because I've proven I can deliver. And if you don't believe it, Jimmy. She pauses, letting the silence choke the room. Watch me. The crowd gasps. Half erupt in applause, clapping furiously, shouting support. The other half remain quiet, uneasy, caught between admiration and skepticism. Jimmy raises his brows, playing to the moment, but his grin has thinned. Proven, he repeats, his voice like a blade wrapped in sugar. Or just cast for the headlines. The room freezes. The silence is suffocating. Kim doesn't flinch. Her eyes lock on his, unblinking, unshaken. Headlines don't last. She fires back. But talent does, and I've built an entire career proving I can outlast anyone's doubts, including yours. The tension in the studio is electric. The audience doesn't know whether to laugh, clap, or hold their breath. A woman in the front row shouts, "Go Kim," while a man further back mutters under his breath. The division cuts through the air like a serrated knife. Jimmy leans back, folding his arms, pretending to stay amused, but the strain shows in the tightness of his jaw. Well, he says finally, his voice low. I guess we'll see if the movie critics agree with you. A nervous laugh trickles from the crowd, but it dies quickly. The silence that follows is heavier than applause, heavier than jeers. It presses down on the studio, pinning everyone to their seats. Kim doesn't blink. Her voice slices through the quiet, cold, and sharp as ice. You'll see it, Jimmy. And when you do, remember this moment. The weight of her words drags across the room. The band is silent. The cameras linger, capturing the tension etched on both faces. For a heartbeat, time stops. The queen of reality television locking eyes with the king of late night, both unwilling to yield. Then the crowd erupts louder than before, louder than the show has been all night. Half in cheers, half in disbelief. Some stand, clapping and shouting Kim's name. Others shake their heads, muttering about arrogance. The audience is no longer united. It's fractured, split down the middle. And in that fracture, the show teeters on the edge of collapse. The studio is already fractured. The crowd buzzing and split voices from the acting debate. Some chant Kim's name like a rallying cry. Others sit back with arms crossed. The energy is raw, unfiltered, restless. Jimmy, sensing the volatility, presses forward anyway. He adjusts his tie, eyes glinting with a calculated edge. Well, he says, drawing the words out. If Hollywood doesn't work out, at least you've always got schemes. The crowd claps automatically, but the tone feels forced, like a reflex instead of genuine support. Jimmy leans in, twisting the knife. Or should I say Nike schemes, because let's be honest, Nike doesn't usually do partnerships like this. They don't gamble unless they've got something to gain. Makes you wonder who's carrying who in this relationship. Gasps ripple through the audience. The laughter this time is nervous, jagged, quickly fading into uneasy silence. Even the band looks uncertain, shifting in their seats, waiting for the next move. Kim's body stiffens. The smile is gone. Her jaw tightens and a cold fire burns in her eyes. She inhales slowly, her breath deliberate, like a boxer studying before the final round. "I've built schemes from the ground up," she says, her voice like tempered steel. "Nike didn't hand me anything. They saw the power of what I created. They wanted in, not the other way around." Her words cut, precise, and unshakable. But Jimmy doesn't back down. He smirks, his voice dripping with mock innocence. Of course, of course. I mean, it's just people were buying Nike long before schemes came along. Seems like you need them more than they need you." The studio erupts, some cheering Jimmy's jab, others booing loudly, shouting Kim's name. The sound collides in the air, chaos echoing against the studio walls. Kim doesn't move for a beat. Then, slowly, deliberately, she rises from her chair. The sound is deafening, not from the crowd, but from the scrape of her chair's legs dragging against the studio floor. A sharp metallic screech that slices through the chaos and freezes the room. Every camera swings toward her. The spotlight locks on. Her silhouette stands tall against the bright set, her figure commanding, unyielding. The audience gasps in unison. Time itself seems to stall. No one moves. No one breathes. Jimmy's grin falters, but he forces it back, raising his voice above the hush. "Oh, come on, Kim. Don't be dramatic. It's just a question." His tone is playful, but the strain in it is unmistakable. Kim's eyes are cold, unblinking, her voice sharp enough to slice through the silence. "No, Jimmy, that wasn't a question. That was disrespect." The words land heavy, echoing in the charged air. The crowd explodes, half cheering wildly, half booing, the split sharper than ever. Shouts of "Go Kim!" battle against heckles of "Sit down." The studio is a battlefield of voices clashing, colliding, shaking the walls. Kim turns, her heels striking the floor with fierce finality. Each step is thunder. Each step a declaration. The cameras follow her relentlessly, capturing every angle. The sway of her hair, the rigid set of her shoulders, the icy fury carved into her face. The spotlight trails her like a hunter, casting her shadow long across the stage. At the edge of the platform, she pauses. The studio doors loom ahead, gleaming under the stage lights for a heartbeat. The world holds still, and then she pushes through. The heavy door slams shut behind her, a sound that reverberates like the crack of a gavel. The moment is immortalized. The queen of reality TV walking out unapologetic, unbroken, leaving the king of late night in stunned silence. The audience sits frozen, caught between awe and disbelief. Jimmy forces a laugh, hollow and brittle, clinging to his role. But it's too late. The scene has already written itself into Hollywood legend. This wasn't just an interview anymore. It was war. And Kim Kardashian had just drawn the line and fire. The door hasn't even finished echoing shut when Jimmy leans into his mic, forcing a brittle smile across his face. The laughter he tries to summon is hollow, like glass shattering in silence. "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, voice straining for control, "I think Kim Kardashian has left the building." The audience reacts instantly. Half erupt into applause. The other half rain down boos. The studio becomes a stadium split in two. Cheers and jeers colliding in the air like thunder and lightning. Jimmy raises a hand, attempting to settle the noise, but the chaos only swells. His words cut through, sharp and deliberate. "Maybe it's best. Maybe tonight." Kim wasn't ready for the questions. The statement lands like a gavel strike. The cameras whip to catch the chaos. Faces twisted in shock. Others in delight, still others shouting into the void. And then, as if on cue, the doors at the edge of the stage swing open once more. Kim reappears for a fleeting moment, her back to the cameras as she moves toward the exit. The lights catch her, casting a golden outline around her silhouette. Time slows. Each step is drawn out. Every motion magnified: the sway of her hair, the straight line of her spine, the sharp rhythm of her heels striking against the floor. The cameras follow, relentlessly. The spotlight clings to her, painting her as both warrior and exile. Audience members lean forward, phones in hand, desperate to capture the moment. And then the sound, the heavy slam of the final door closing behind her. A single echoing note that silences everything else. In that instant, the night crystallizes into history. Not as a scripted gag, not as another celebrity anecdote, but as a defining moment of live television, the queen of reality TV, ordered off stage by late-night royalty, leaving behind a trail of divided voices and stunned silence. It is a scene destined for replay, for headlines, for memes and debates. A slow-motion exodus etched into the mythology of Hollywood drama. The studio may have fallen silent after Kim's exit, but outside those doors, the world is roaring. Within minutes, clips ripple across the internet. Grainy phone recordings spread like wildfire. Each frame dissected, slowed down, replayed. Millions of eyes watch her rise, hear the scrape of that chair, and witness the door slam shut. News outlets move with lightning speed. Headlines scream across every screen. Kim Kardashian walks out on Jimmy Kimmel. Live on air. Late-night chaos. Reality queen versus comedy king. Nike schemes drama erupts into public meltdown on Instagram. Stories loop endlessly. Some show Kim's silhouette in slow motion set against swelling orchestral music. Others freeze on Jimmy's smirk, asking if it was arrogance or composure. Twitter fills with side-by-side clips. Endless rewinds of the moment the air shifted and the night shattered. TikTok becomes its own battleground. Edits glorify Kim's icy walkout, while others parody the clash with laugh tracks and captions. The debate consumes every feed, every timeline, every scroll. And then come the think pieces. Variety calls it late night's most unscripted moment in years. BuzzFeed poses the question, was it real or the greatest PR stunt of all time? The Hollywood Reporter writes, the Kimmel-Kardashian divide, ego, power, and the art of the walkout. Yet beneath all the noise, one question lingers louder than the rest. Was this chaos carefully written? Or was it the night the mask slipped for good? Kim remains silent. No tweets, no statements, no Instagram captions, just that single unforgettable image burned into memory. The flawless figure in the spotlight, walking away, the sound of the door still echoing like a final verdict. Jimmy, meanwhile, ends his broadcast with a strange smile, tossing off a line meant to sound like comedy, but the crack in his voice betrays him. The king of late night no longer looks untouchable. And so the aftershock rolls on. Screens keep replaying the moment. Commentators keep debating the truth. Fans keep choosing sides. But in the heart of Hollywood, one truth is undeniable. A new legend has been written live and unfiltered before the eyes of the world.